Burial Hill is a historic cemetery in Plymouth that dates back to 1620 and is the burial site of several pilgrims. It was recently added to the National Register of Historic Places. The Friends of Burial Hill and the 22nd Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry staged an historical reenactment honoring some of those early Plymouth residents. PACTV Community News was also in attendance to bring you this story.
We portray Company D of the 22nd Mass Volunteer Infantry, which was raised here in Massachusetts in 1861 in response to President Lincoln's call for troops. It was organized in October of 1861, and they organized and trained at Camp Linfield, which is just outside of Boston, Massachusetts. They moved to the seat of war shortly after, and they went down to Virginia, where they did garrison duty shortly and the defense of Washington, and then they camped at a place called Hall's Hill, just on the other side of the Potomac River in Virginia. When the campaign started in 1862, they were heavily engaged in fighting on the peninsula, the Virginia Peninsula, McClellan's failed campaign to take Richmond. And at the Battle of Gaines' Mill on June 27th of 1862, they sustained horrific casualties. The Company D of the 22nd, of which our reenacting group portrays, lost its captain and lost several men as well, either to wounds sustained in that battle, or they were killed outright, or they were captured. Several other of the companies in that regiment suffered greatly as well. Our colonel, Colonel Gove, was killed in action at that battle. So it was a very tragic battle.
When I moved to Plymouth, I volunteered at the public library in their history room. And shortly thereafter, they mentioned that I should get involved with the Friends of Burial Hill, which they were the sponsors of this event. And so I've been up here with them, and we're preserving the stones. We clean them. We hold events like this that are historical events. During the course of working with them early on, I was asked by Cheryl Caputo whether she was considering putting on an event about the Civil War, since we're in the 150th anniversary. And she asked me what I could find in the library. And from that time, I found a wealth of information. This is only like a tiniest of piece of all the information that's about Plymouth and its role in the Civil War. The information that was in the presentation about the events themselves were all directly taken from the Old Colony Memorial and Plymouth Rock newspapers, which were the newspapers of the town that can be found. By the way, the resources are at the public library on microfilm, and Pilgrim Hall Museum also has the newspapers. So without their saving these records, this event and probably other events similar to this could never take place.
You know, we teach gravestone conservation workshops. We have a very active and dedicated membership. We will begin again come April or May.
As soon as the weather breaks in the spring. And Cheryl and I trained with professionals, so now we are training people to work with us in Burial Hill. We've trained 35 local people, and Tourism Cares was here. And
about
we had
60
people one day.
Cleaned 100 stones in one day.
It was unbelievable.
So a lot's getting done. 3 years ago, Burial Hill was a much different place than what you see here today. It was rather unwelcoming. It was laden with trash. There was, graffiti, trees down. A lot. Not a very welcoming place. We would see tourists come up the main stairway, take a picture or two, and head right back down. Now people come up here to read, to walk their dogs, just to sit and take in the serene surroundings. Genealogists come up here.
Tours come up here.
Now artists, tours, yes, exactly.
Artists come up here. Art classes have come up, sit up here.
Yep.
With a panoramic view. It's a wonderful spot.
And you couldn't have had this prior to the involvement of the Friends of Burial Hill. And we're always looking for new members. So
the principal occupations in Plymouth at this time were related to the maritime industry. Merchants, traders, and industries within the town. Along Main Street Extension did not exist at that time, but on Main Street and Market Street were the offices and stores of many of the town's merchants and traders. Here you would find banks, insurance companies, the Plymouth Rock, the Old Colony Memorial, which were two newspapers at the time, lawyers' offices, grocers, book and stationery stores, millinery and fancy goods, boots and shoes, jewelers, drugstores, and photographers. And there'd be one Ballard's Oyster and Ice Cream Saloon.
Hey! Recover, up! Shoulder, up!